Hello. Hi, I'm the Devine High Priest, High Priestess, whatever you want to call me. Uh, what do I do? Well, I don't know. I think I embody I embody God, and I try to keep up with what I want to do. When what I want to do is bring us back, probably to a time that some of the younger generation doesn't even know. When families were really families. When moms and dads stuck together and raised their kids, and you could depend on that. You know what I mean? That seems to be a thing of the past, but it doesn't have to be. I've seen a lot of life, and thinking about what makes us different, what makes us, God, when God came to me and He chose me to do this thing, He said He put something in me even before the time began. I've been around a long time. I'm my old soul. I believe that because most people have told me that, when I get to know them real well, they say, I think you're an old soul. Well, I think I am too. But what makes us human is the fact that we care about each other. At least we used to, we believed in God. We believed marriage was a man and a woman. We cared about our kids so much that even when they were born, we count the toes and their fingers. We care. We cared. A lot of people nowadays don't care. It's all about the dollar. And that's nowhere to be. That's not any way to be human. We might as well just call ourselves a bunch of calculators, walking computers. We've got AI now that does things a lot faster than we do. We got people wanting to go to Mars. The problem with that is we haven't learned how to do Earth yet. We don't know how much time we have left here. I do know that God's got a plan, and He's working on it, and whether we keep up or not, He's going to have His plan, So, we have a lot less time than I think that we believe that we do. And what do we need to do? Well, my goal here is to get us back right with God. I can't save you. Jesus did that. Just start using that as just jumping off point to being human again. When I was a man in my late 30s, I was raising babies, I got them raised. Since then, all you empty nesters, I mean, the wife I was married to, she passed away back in '98. Stepkids have stopped coming around. They don't come around anymore. But I do have one of my own, and he's still around. But at some point, I had to go through that empty nester stage. That was that was a lot more painful than I thought that it would be. And you kind of see what God's wanting from man. I mean, He built us for a reason, so that we could have fellowship with Him, and He wants us to grow, help us get there. He's doing His part. Are we doing ours? Some people maybe are. This spiritual community seems to do pretty good with that. That's why I chose them to be the beginnings of this movement, because every day they work, and as they do their thing, they're asking God for the answers, and He gives it to them. If they have any gifts at all, then they get those gifts. He helps them with it, and people can get a lot of answers about their lives from these people. I mean, I know some that are very good at it. But even those people, they may have families and whatnot, and they still do their families, because when we stop caring about the people that we love and just care about the dollars, that really isn't why we were created. Yeah, God likes to see us succeed. What we're doing, I know He does, and He'll help us get there, But more important than that is the hearts that we have in us, It's important that we love the people that we have to love. I mean, every family has some problems, but I mean, mine's a mess. Not because I choose to have a mess, but it wasn't my doing. I've just kind of been. I'm the black sheep of the family, so it's going to be that way. But it was never my want to be in that kind of a deal with my family. And if it were my brothers, I'd work it out, and but they haven't left a whole lot of ways to do that, and I'm not going to settle, Point is, we've got AI and stuff like this. We've got, rockets. We've got electric cars coming up, and they're going to drive themselves. We've got our kids are They sit down and play video games all day. I mean, that's the way mine got, you know. When I was a kid, my mother told us, get out of the house and go away, go play. And that's where we spent the day, even in the summer, you know, out playing, learning, you know, things that you just learn, you know. And a bunch of kids were all together playing, you know, not just brothers and sisters, that, you know, friends and stuff we had on the block, you know. We'd have fights, we'd have, you know, we were friends, you know, they'd fight one day and friends next. In the end, you know, most of us came up and we're still alive, you know. At my age, well, they're starting to fall off now, you know. But a whole bunch of them are still alive. But the most important thing that I think I've ever done, of all the things I've done in my life, and I've done quite a bit, was like raising my kids, teaching them about God, and whenever I needed him, he was there for that, you know. And believe me, I needed him at times. And during those times, even if times were rough and hard during the time, I always had enough. I think I always asked him, you know, bless the work of my hands. And he did. He always made sure I had enough money to take care of him. Because when I screwed up, that's when he would back up. It wasn't his first screw up, it was mine, you know. Sometimes, do you ever get to where you miss people? Well, I know that I had a couple dogs, and I had to get rid of them because one was pit bull and stuff. So I got him, found him home. But I kept the other one because he wasn't long for this world anyway. But you know, that speeded up his death way faster than it would have ordinarily went. Because he died, I think, grieving a broken heart because his buddy was gone. I saw that, you know. I too have seen a lot of grief in these days, past 6 years or so. Maybe actually might have been closer to 10 years. From all the people that have gone in a direction that I would never have gone. We are human beings because we care about other human beings. And we care about God. And those are the people that say that they're atheist. Someday you'll find out that you were wrong. Because I've talked to God, I've seen him. No matter what they believe, God is real. And there's a heaven and there's a hell. And both of them are forever. We're going through a major time of what's the word? Where we're evolving. And we already got help whenever God put Adam and Eve here. You don't think they just came from what grew out of the forest. No, they didn't. Someone spliced some DNA or something and made even Adam and Eve to be enlightened. Of course, there were other people, the evolved ones who had no help at all on that. And that's probably where her sons found their wives and whatnot, Because one thing God did, he gave us the ability to evolve. And that's, there's a guy, I don't know what his name is right now. I always lose names. The guy that talks about evolving and all that, animals and stuff. People were the same way. It's built into us. Our brains are using a lot more of our brains than we used to. Our bodies have adapted to certain things like, some people don't evolve as well in the bodies. Luckily for me, I've done all right. I don't have any diseases yet. That's about the only real predator that we have is the way we take care of ourselves, or the way we whatever we do, the way we eat, whatever, If we eat too much red meat, it seems to affect us. If we eat too much that's fattening, we can get fat. I've done that before. I couldn't believe I did, because up until then, I couldn't get me to gain a pound. I remember when I first went in the Marine Corps, you had to go through a swimming qualification, because, you're going to be on a ship. You better learn how to swim. And I wasn't that great of a swimmer, but you had to stay afloat for so long. And you didn't get to, they don't let you slide. You're going to go through some serious pains to find a way to do that. But I passed finally. But I was dead weight in water. I wasn't. As I got older, I can float a lot better than I used to. Because muscle and bone it's pretty heavy stuff. It's when we get a little fat on us that we can float. But anyway, we are evolving, and in that evolving, it's really easy to lose ourselves, lose our humanity. But I got a compliment today. It said, the world needs you because you care. And that's good. I'm glad if that works, then I'll accept that. Because, but everyone should care. They should care about their neighbors, the people around us. You may only cover maybe 5, 10, 25 miles a day in that little piece of the earth. And you deal with people sometimes all the time, sometimes every once in a while. But the way you treat them is kind of the way your life's going to go. If you're kind, people see that. They see the way you are. Probably, if you smile at the world smiles back, you know what I mean? And that's something I've come to know. Now, every once in a while, somebody who's a jerk will come into your life and mess things up. And that's when you see who they are, you kind of steer away from them. But for the most part, people are good, and they want to be human, and but more and more, I see a lot of that thing in them that where they don't fear you. They're kind and nice people. That don't have a problem with if you speak to them, they speak back. But more and more, I see people who will just kind of look at you like, "Are you crazy? What are you talking to me for?" Just to be talking, I guess. Because it's kind of important that we do remember that we're all connected. Whether or not we came from the same lineage, we all do come from the family of man. I mean, we can say that we were all derived from Noah and his sons, That's who we came from. Somewhere down the road, people married in different countries that they were in or whatever in their lineages, but that's where it started. And so we're all of that family. There's so many. There's a few types of blood. There's a few. There's different skin colors. But we all blood red. We bleed red. It's all red blood. I don't know about yours. Mine looks kind of a maroon color red. No, it's real dark. You say it's got extra antibodies or something in it. I don't know. B negative. Kind of hits me with that. There's that Marine Corps that was always coming up with wanting us to do blood drives, and boy, they were eager to get that blood because they never had enough of it. But for the most part, people, they got O, The predators are sitting right there waiting to get into that blood. And once they do, you get all kinds of diseases. But that's the main predator that we have. That and not caring about people. If something were to break out today, some major catastrophe, we'd all want to be together and say, helping each other. That may be the only way that any of us would survive. The reason God chose me was because that care is in me. That care for people, that care for loving people, I see people nowadays, they kind of pride themselves on I don't love shit. Hell with everybody, And I'm like, that can't be really true, There's somebody in these people's lives that they care about. And if they don't, then they're just psychotic, So, and it's important that we care about people, and it's important that we are able to show kindness to people, forgive them when we can. Now, I know that I happen to know real well that is a process. It doesn't come sometimes overnight, especially when they don't say anything that tells you that they have any remorse at all about the things they've done. I I myself, if I screwed up, I generally say I'm sorry. There's a whole lot of people that have so much pride they won't ever say that they're sorry, and they'll like to, they'll lie even to say that they aren't at fault. I've met a lot of those people in my own very own family. I'm not pointing them out right now, but I'm just saying, this is not the people that I knew growing up. Something has gone way haywire with them, because these are not the people I remember. But, so what should I do? I'm, do the best I can with it, The fact of the matter is that right now it doesn't look like they'll ever get to be in my life again, because they did some heinous things. Didn't just play against me, they played against the Most High. So they have a lot of apologizing to do to make it right. Whether or not they do it in my lifetime, whether or not they leave it to their kids to take care of it, because it's going to come. Their karma and whatnot, that's the way God deals with things. And after that's done, well, depends how bad they did. Did they ever get the lesson? Did they ever get it, So far they haven't gotten it. But there are a whole lot of people I do know who they have really come along, because, see, God put something in me that whenever I come in contact with some people, any one of you, you can be sure that one way or the other you're going to change. Because I came here like as a mirror, so that anyone who dealt with me in any way would see what they need to do. And not because I told them, just because they would just see it. I don't know how that works, how God puts that in some people. Light workers, He put that in some of us, so that they would start evolving, because He knew this time was coming. We're here to show the light. We're here to be beacons, to come to the light. See, there are a lot of people that are living in darkness now, and for whatever reason, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying that they're living in darkness, and God wants them to come home, because we are all God's children. And the most important thing that we can do at this time in our world, in our history, is get back to the God who created us. Because we may not have much time. I mean, you can't come and the last day and come and tell Jesus, "Hey, Jesus, hey, you remember me? I never did anything to be a Christian, but I call myself a Christian." I said, "Hey, get out of here. Get out of here." Now you have to. What is Christianity? It's to become Christ-like, to see the way He gave us an example to be, and try to get there. You don't have to be perfect. God never asked us to be perfect. He knows that we are human beings. It's why He sent His Son, because we aren't perfect. But you got to at least try. You got to at least show some care for your fellow man. You got to Care about your kids, your wives, your husbands. You know, you got to show respect to your mom and dad, you know. And sometimes they don't deserve it, but, you know, so what? That's just the way it is. It's one to honor thy mother and thy father, you know. That's why I've always done that, you know. I mean, even though there were times that they didn't deserve it, but I don't care. They still got it. Because nobody's perfect and nobody knows, has a book on how to raise kids or whatever, you know what I mean? So they do the best they can. And that's what you can say for them. They did the best they could. And as we go through this world, you know, we do the best we can. But put a little more effort into it. Start caring about the people that are right in your life, and it sends out a ripple effect into human beings. You know, the air maybe, I don't know, but the world starts changing. And that's what we're trying to do. Trying to get mankind to a place that is conducive to the way God meant for us to be. It's not that hard. It's not that hard to be. You see somebody needs maybe smile or say hello. You might make somebody's day 100 times better just to do that much. You see someone's down and out, hey, if you put it on your heart to reach out to that person, you can do it. I trust that when you do those things, God will bless you for it. I know that He does. I mean, I'm living in Dharma right now because I did a lot of that. I didn't know I was a light worker. I didn't know I had anything to do with all that. It's the way I was. Even people I didn't particularly like, I still helped them, you know. But there were times when people helped me, I was like, whoa, thank you, you know. I don't even have enough to pay you or anything, but they said, well, I didn't do it for that, you know. But hey, you can come to my church. Yeah, all right. I sure do appreciate that, you know, because, you know, there are good people out there in the world, and I bet y'all know some of them. Keep that going, you know, pay that forward, you know what I mean? I just want to talk to you a minute, you know, and that's what we're trying to do. We're going to change this world. And that's how we do it. That's how we do it. Just by being the best versions of ourselves that we can be. Can't always be that way. Sometimes you'll have a bad day. But I'll let you slide on that. God will let you slide on that, because we aren't perfect. But be the best person you can be, and compete with yourselves. You don't have to compete with anybody over it, but you can compete with yourselves. How was I a year ago? Am I better? Yeah. Hey, progress is a great thing. You know, and that's what I do. I mean, you know, am I perfect at it? Hell no. I don't know how I became the model of it. Yeah, because I certainly am not. I don't really feel like I'm the model of anything. But I love God, and I love people. That's why I came here. When I go away, I hope I'll have a legacy that says I changed the world. And I hope that you all are involved in that. Because everything that you do kind, everything you do to help another, figure you're doing it for God. And you'll be blessed for it. I know that for sure. And that's not something that just I get. Anybody can have that. Just be that person. I didn't know that God was watching me whenever I did it, but I found out later on. I guess He was. And He's watching every one of us, And anyone can be that guy. Anyone can. And there are people that do it a hell of a lot better than I do. So, and it's, you don't have to be Mr. Lovey-Dovey to everybody, but love comes in many ways. And just being kind to someone is love, as opposed to not being kind. And believe it, the people that you're kind to notice it. And they appreciate it. Anyway, that's all I want to talk about. So listen, say your prayers, teach your kids, be kind to one another, love each other, and have a good night.